Hi everyone. Today I am going to give a brief introduction to using watercolours for the first time. I have a set of watercolours here. You will be familiar with them if you're from St Augustine's School. These are the ones we use. These have been used. They are not brand new. I was the last person to use them, so they're kind of quite clean, although when I first got them they were a mess. So first of all, you need to make yourself a grid like this. I'll just move these out of the way. In order to do that, usually I would have one printed out for you, but of course we're not at school, so you haven't, well, you're not going to get one. So let's move on to a blank page. The way I'm going to do this quite quickly, the way I would do this is to get a ruler and just draw on either side of it. Pretty straightforward. 1, 2, and again 1, 2. You can do as many of these as you like, and then I would do this. Taking my time, both sides. So then you get squares quite quickly. These are what you will practice painting in. Now I might go over these in pen. I've got a permanent pen, just so that you can see easier what I've done. Shall I do another one? I think that will be enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shall I do another one? Yeah, why not? If I go over them in pen, yeah, as I said, it's a permanent pen. If you haven't got a permanent pen, if it's just a standard felt tip, I wouldn't go over it, because when you paint, the felt tip will then run. Let me see if I can get a straight line here. Straight enough, isn't it? You see how I'm just dragging my hand down. I'm not moving the pen. I'm not moving my fingers. I'm just pulling my whole arm down. And I'm sort of getting a straight line-ish. Turn it around. So as I say, if you're doing it in pencil, that's absolutely fine. And then I'm going to rub out my pencil lines. And of course these lines don't have to be perfect. In fact, if they're imperfect, it gives you a better, more challenging lesson. Right, so that's done. These are Staedtler pigment liners as well, by the way. Staedtler pigment liners. You get 5, I think they're about £8 on Amazon. Let's get rid of these pencil lines. There we go. So I've got 2 columns. One column is for... What brush am I using, by the way? I've got 2 kind of brushes here. I've got a number 4 and I've got a number, I'm not sure if that's 9, I think that's a number 9. 4 and 9. What else have I got? Is that a different one? What's that one? That's an 8. So then, yeah, that's a 6, a 4, a 6 and an 8. They all come in different sizes. I'm going to use a 6. Any of them would do really, though. Oops. And so this column will be for using mixed 2 colours. And this will be paint in any colour. So you choose a colour, not too much water, they're called watercolours. Can you see? Yes, you can. You'll notice when I'm putting my brush in the water as well, I hardly ever touch the bottom. Yeah, you kind of don't want to touch the bottom. You want your brush wants to be in the water. You only want to touch the bottom when you're leaving it in there like that. Sometimes people have a tendency to kind of push the brush down, but all that does is like squash it and ruin it really quickly. So let's start with one of my favourite colours on this palette. They're not all my favourite, but I quite like them. You'll notice the first thing I do is the outside. There are many different ways of working with the watercolours. I'm just showing you one way. This is a good way to start. So I'm doing the outside. I'm getting all the lines. I'm working quite quickly, because if watercolour dries, it will leave a kind of like a watermark. You can see it's left one there already. Let's get some more in there. Bit of water, and there you go. So that's not mixed, that's straight out of the palette. Now if I spend too much time painting this, you can see it's going to get these little loose bits of paper coming up, so I'm not going to spend any more time on that. Brushing water. I tend to have a bit of tissue. I haven't got any actually. I'm going to get some. I tend to have a bit of tissue just so I can dry my brush if I need to, and or paper towel or whatever. So the next one I'll do is I'll go for the orangey red. There are two different kinds of reds here. There's like almost a crimson colour. You see that? Crimson colour and like an orangey red. I'm not going to go into this one. I'm going to go into this one because that's still drying. If I paint right next to it, all that will happen is that the colours will run into each other and your painting will be ruined. Okay, you don't want that. You do not want that. So again, I'm rushing it. I don't expect you to rush it. This is just me demonstrating to you. So there you go. I guess I'll do a yellow next. Primary colours. Do you know what the primary colours are? Primary colours, colours that can't be mixed with any other colour colours that can't be mixed with any other colour to make them. So the primary colours are blue, red, yellow. So then hopefully these are becoming dry. I mean, you're going to take your time. Are you noticing as well, every time I paint, I'm always bringing the brush towards me. Watch. Brush towards me, always, for the edges. And then colour in the middle. See, I'm getting better at it as the more I do it, I'm getting quicker at it. So maybe that's dry, maybe it isn't, maybe I'll come back to it. Let's move on to the other side. So here what I'm going to do is mix two colours. Dry off my brush a bit. I am going to try and mix a purple. If I'm going to mix a purple, I would use the nice blue I used first and probably this crimson. I would say that would make a better purple colour than that. Them two, or them two, or them. So you got two blues, two reds. So I would go for the darker blue and the darker red, the crimson. But you can experiment. So we will bring the crimson into here. You'll see the paint acts a bit oddly if you've never really used your mixing palette. The more you use it, the less it will do what it's doing, which is sort of gathers in the middle. And then let's get this blue in here. And then I put the blue not right next to it, I'm leaving a space in the middle. That space is where I will mix the colours. So dry off my brush a bit, mix in the colours in the middle until I'm happy. So it's a bit too blue at the moment, a bit too blue. Now I'm using all the crimson and it's gone a purple. There you go. So starting at the edges again. If I try mixing this purple again, I imagine it will come out quite different. So I might try that, but not yet. I'll try it next to it. As you can see, I'm working quite quickly. You do have to work quite quickly, but maybe not as quickly as I'm working. There you go. A purple. Next I will mix maybe a green. There are greens in there, but it's nice to mix as well. This time I'll use the other blue. Please, I don't know the names of colours. I've never been very good at that. I know the names of my favourite colours, but I don't know the names of all these colours. They have all got names. And then dry off the brush a bit, make sure there's no blue on there, and put some yellow on. Exactly the same way. I'm going to mix the yellow straight in to the blue till we can get some kind of green. You see, the green that I'm getting is not the green that's in the palette. It's slightly different. That's the beauty of mixing. It's much better to mix your colours. So here I go. It's a very yellowy green, but it is a green. If you look at that yellow there, it's not the same, is it? And you get the idea now. So mixing two colours together, moving the paper around or the book around every time you do a new edge. My paintbrush is always in the same place. My arm is always in the same place. It's the paper that moves. The paper moves because you want your muscles. What colour shall I do now? Orange? Do an orange. You kind of want your muscles to remember what you're doing, really. And once they do that, you will improve. But it takes practice, lots of practice. Let's use this one. It's almost orange already. So there we go. See that too? It is quite an orange. Might put a bit of yellow in that. Clean off the brush. That's better. Nice thick orange again. Do the edge. Then move the paper to the edge. Move the paper. Take it down. I'm just using the tip of the brush as well. I don't know if you've noticed in that. Just the tip of the brush. So whether you've got quite a big brush or quite a small brush, you can get good detail by just using the tip of the brush, just like the top 2 millimeters of it. Right. Now I'm going to go and use this and see if I can mix a different kind of purple. It might come out a bit of a brown. Yeah, look at that. It's a bit of a brown, isn't it? It's gone brown. Well, brown's all right. Let's have brown. See, depending on what colours you use, sometimes you might get surprises. It's a really nice brown. I wasn't expecting that at all. Now let's see if this green is dry. It doesn't seem to be running into it. There you go. And then, ooh, I'm leaning on that orange. Shouldn't be doing that. Nice brown. And then I would do the rest, come back to the rest. I might do that actually and put it on to speed it up. I can't remember the official thing. So you can see I'm pretty much done. Just a little recap as I do the final one. Let's mix a really yellowy orange. So do the edges first, moving the paper around. There's quite a lot of water on this. You can try it with a lot of water and a little water and see. You get brighter colours, thinner colours by doing it that way, using a lot of water or a little water. And do the middle. The more time you spend painting, if I continue doing that, it will mess up the paper, so I'd leave it like that. That's pretty good. Work quite quickly, but not too quickly. You'll make mistakes at first, don't worry about that, just continue. If If you wanted to do another kind of little test here, what would I do? I would, this is quite a difficult one, so I'd have my red, orange, going into, let's try going into a purple. Actually, it's a brown. How would I mix them together so it's nice and smooth? Very difficult. So it becomes like that. Quite difficult to do. I would need more practice to that. That's where your paper can get really ruined as well. So that would be an extension task. Just trying to get two colours to blend into each other really nicely. Well, that's the lesson. Next thing you do, wash this, dry it out, and make sure it's ready for next time. You can see my paints are perfect. I have not mixed on here at all. This is where you mix, always you mix in there. Okay, I hope that helps, and I will send some more lessons soon. All right, bye.